Okay, I feel like a monster, but I also need to stand my ground here. I don't want to be a mega idiot. I, 20 female, have a stepsister, Jane, 18, whom I've known for 7 years. We've had our ups and downs, but ultimately she's family and I would never want to intentionally hurt her. One thing she does a lot during arguments with her mom is say, well, Dad would let me do X, or maybe I'll go stay with Dad then. I never met her dad. I've seen him a few times, but I was never properly introduced to him. He and Lucy, my stepmom, had a bad breakup, and she didn't want him to meet my mum or me, which I can understand given what she's told me about him. For the past week, Jane had been even more irritable than usual. I tried talking to her, but she shut me out. Lucy and Mum told me she'd come around and not to pry. I found out a few days ago that she'd been using my expensive skincare and had almost emptied a bottle in a week that takes me 5 months to finish, as well as using and almost emptying all my other skincare stuff. I was angry and confronted her, telling her to replace it. She started crying and getting angry at me. She said I was an annoying idiot for chasing her up on face wash and that I needed to leave her alone. I will admit that we both said harmful things, which I regret, and I ended up saying, why don't you go live with your dad since he'll let you off? Jane's face dropped and she said, my dad died last week, you idiot. She ran and locked herself in her room after she said that, and I immediately regretted what I'd said. Lucy and Mum came home shortly after, and I explained what had happened. They both said I needed to apologize, which I agreed with. Lucy went to talk with Jane and afterward told me Jane would only forgive me if I was grounded until New Year, and she had free reign of my wardrobe. She loves my style but can't afford to buy clothes to fit it at the moment. I said no to both. I didn't bring up her dad as a gotcha he's dead moment, as I didn't know he'd passed. Obviously, if I had, I wouldn't have said anything about it and would have treated her outbursts and change in behavior differently because I know now she was grieving. Lucy and Mum then said if I won't do those things, I should at least drive her around to her friends, university, etc. I again said no. We both go to different universities and the logistics won't work. Lucy said if I can't make it up to Jane, I shouldn't expect her to forgive me. I said I don't need Jane's sisterhood if it's only based on transactional things like car rides or clothes. Jane is fuming with me and Lucy and Mum think I'm being petty and difficult for not even attempting to patch things up with Jane. I don't expect her to forgive me straight away, as that's not how humans work, but no apology would suffice as she doesn't want an apology, she wants my things. So as it stands, it's 3 against 1, and everyone at home thinks I'm a huge idiot. Am I the idiot for refusing to make it up to my sister after bringing up her dead father, who I didn't know was dead? Not the idiot. It's time to stop apologizing and go on the offensive. Why the heck did nobody mention this to you beforehand? You had clearly said that she was shutting you out to Lucy, but you were told she'd come around when she was acting out because her dad just died. Your response, which was to apologize, was frankly a bit doormatty. If I were you, I'd have gotten angry at Lucy for not telling you what happened, or at the very least, not informing you that Jane was going through a difficult time. You shouldn't apologize for not knowing information that was intentionally withheld from you. I'd consider that to be such an enormous lie of omission that is practically malicious. You were basically set up to be the bad guy so that Jane could then use you as her emotional punching bag. This doesn't change the fact that she stole from you and used things that weren't hers without permission. She needs to replace those. You can't use her apologies as skincare. You should go on the offensive here. You came from ignorance with the dad's remark. She willingly took your stuff. Honestly, OP, they're just using you as a scapegoat to make Jane feel better. And although I sympathize with the loss of a parent, you were not properly informed of his passing. Honestly, you don't deserve this level of toxicity from them. Yeah, what kind of dysfunctional family are you living in that no one told you that someone you live with lost a parent? And they think it's okay for her to demand access to your clothes or ride in the car and steal your stuff in order for her to forgive you? Get out of that house as soon as possible. And when it's your turn to create a family, whatever that looks like, remember these days and make different choices. Long story short, my ex-wife and I are divorced. We share custody of our pre-tween son. I usually buy my son stuff and send them to his mum's house since I travel a lot for work. The thing is, I'd sometimes see his mum's husband wearing the stuff I get for him, my son, like when I bought him a dinosaur wristband. I accidentally saw my ex's husband wearing it in a photo they posted on Facebook. It kept happening and I had to speak to my ex-wife and she said her husband does this while playing with our son. I expressed my grief and discomfort regarding the issue and got brushed off. Last week I had a business meeting abroad and couldn't go with my son to watch a baseball game. I'd already bought and sent him a baseball glove a while back, and later in the day I saw a pic on Facebook of his mom's husband wearing the freaking glove on his hand while taking a photo with my son. I immediately cancelled my trip and went home to discuss the issue since my ex-wife was minimizing the situation. I had a massive argument with her. I never speak to her husband at all, and I banned my son from letting my mom's husband touch or wear anything I got or will get for him. My ex-wife started screaming at me, which caused our son to cry, and she called me an idiot, saying that her husband was just trying to let our son have fun and that wearing the glove was to cheer him up, make him laugh or something. I refused to discuss it further, but she decided to escalate by calling my mom, who unusually sided with her and told me I was being unreasonable and unfair towards my son. I just feel like I'm protecting my boundaries after being brushed off for so long. But am I the idiot? Info: you seriously cancelled a business trip because this dude put on a baseball glove? Respectfully, you are the idiot. It sounds like you're getting mad about the stuff when I think, in reality, you're more upset about how present your son's stepdad is in his life. Banning your son from sharing his things and experiences with his stepdad accomplishes nothing except making you look like a controlling idiot. You should want your son to have a happy and healthy relationship with the other close adult in his life. If there are items you genuinely don't want going to mom's house, then they need to be kept at your place. I just feel like I'm protecting my boundaries. What? It's a young child's baseball glove. What kind of lesson would your son learn if he was told, "This is just for you, don't let stepdad touch it"? The lesson would be, my biological father is selfish, jealous, and obsessive. Yeah, the dude stalked his ex's Facebook and cancelled the trip, forbade his son from sharing his gifts, and got into a screaming match with his ex-wife over a glove that stepdad played with. OP, you're embarrassing yourself and genuinely being an awful father to your son in this regard. Growing up with a parent like you will put cracks in his heart. He will spend decades of therapy trying to patch up. Grow up, look in the mirror, and do better. I'm going to sound like a monster, but here goes. My wife and I blended our families 5 years ago. When we moved in together, she had 2 daughters, Mel, then teen, and Molly, tween. I have 3 kids, Lola, tween, Brendan, tween, and Brian, younger tween. And we're expecting our first baby, now a preschooler, and later had our second baby, now a younger toddler. The house is fairly small, but we have 4 bedrooms. The master bedroom, a downstairs bedroom, second master, and 2 smaller bedrooms. Due to space, we decided to put Lola in one bedroom, Brian and Brenda in one bedroom, and have Mel and Molly share the downstairs bedroom. The plan was that the baby would share with us for the first 2 years and then move the baby into Lola's room and have Lola and Molly share. Mel would have moved out for college by then and just share with them for breaks. Everything got thrown into chaos when Mel passed away a year into living together. When it would have been time to think about moving rooms, my wife couldn't even think about touching her stuff, and asking was unthinkable. We had an accidental but wanted second baby, so we decided that Lola and the baby would just have to share for now. Our second is now a toddler and is starting to need to not be sharing a room with my wife and me. I'm starting to think that it's time. I would never have asked for a year or even 2 years out, but now we're heading into year 4. I understand that it's a hard thought and seems callous, but the reality is that we don't have space to keep this up anymore. We need the space. Bedroom split is just not fair and hasn't been for years. Lola is almost a teenager and shouldn't be sharing with 1 toddler, let alone 2. There shouldn't be 3 kids sharing one of the smaller bedrooms, and now 5 kids sharing 1 bathroom. All this while 1 child gets a large bedroom and bathroom for herself. It's not reasonable. My wife and Molly are still resistant and say it's expected not to want to move things around even years later, and they don't want Mel's things taken from them, especially Molly. I get that, but we can't. It's just not realistic. Even if Mel was still with us, she wouldn't live with us anymore. The plan was always to move Lola into that room once Mel went to college. Molly was never supposed to have her own room, and per the agreement made 4 years ago, Molly is getting all of Mel's stuff, so nothing is being taken from her. They're furious, and now the whole house is fighting. Lola is sick of her situation. Molly and my wife want nothing to change, and of course, I'm the evil bad guy who does everything wrong. Is this really that outrageous? Info: Why on earth would you have another baby when your family situation is so emotionally overloaded? That part always gives me the ick. 5 kids between them already to share 3 bedrooms, but these blended families always need to cement the new marriage with our babies. OP at least had a plan that made sense before Mel died. So many stories are, so we have a 2-bedroomed house and 9 kids between us. What do we do? Why didn't you figure this out before you married someone and moved in together? Why are you springing on your kids they have to share a room with a stranger? And even more, why do the parents always keep the master bedroom? They'll cram 6 kids into a shed in the yard before giving up the big bedroom. Insane. On stories like this, I can never stay on topic because I'm so distracted by the fact that no one can keep their stuff in their pants. For the love of God, stop having children. What is up with all these people? Don't you think 2 would be enough? This isn't specifically aimed at OP, but almost all of the need help or need advice or what should I do, my life is going down the drain posts are from people who have 5, 6 or more children. Maybe that's the problem. Geez, what causes these people with multiple kids and space issues to have even more kids? 7 kids and 3 bedrooms. Molly and Lola share. Brenda and Brian share. The littles get bunked since you all want to run a kids camp. Maybe the parents get sterilized. OP, you are the idiot. I, 30 male, have an older sister, 35, and my younger brother, 27. My brother recently got married to his now wife, and to get straight to the point, no one in the family likes her. She is your average sister-in-law that people complain about having, disrespectful and attention-seeking. There's a lot of drama surrounding her, so my brother wasn't allowed to attend family events if sister-in-law would be there. We would only celebrate his birthday if she wouldn't be there. He complained, of course, saying how we were making sister-in-law feel unwanted and such, but she does that in our own homes. We went low contact with my brother, but my parents allowed him back for holidays after sister-in-law gave birth to twins, and my mother wanted to be in their lives. Not that it mattered because sister-in-law won't allow the twins near anyone. I genuinely don't know what my brother sees in her. Her personality would be one he hates, but since he's with her, it's okay. My brother had his wedding and it was a destination wedding and child-free. None of us could even make it if we wanted to. We wouldn't be able to find babysitters and easily go up to where their wedding was. My brother wasn't happy and has been complaining about it since then, saying how he attended ours and that it wasn't fair that the family could enjoy our day but not his. He also said we were selfish for not putting our differences with sister-in-law aside. It's been going on for a while, and I told him I don't care if his wedding didn't go the way he wanted, because it wasn't feasible for us, and also because of how his wife acts. Since then, I hadn't heard from him, but then I found out from my mother that he ranted to her about how he and his family were being treated horribly by us and that he was crying. Both my parents think I should apologize. I do love my brother, but I do hate his wife. So, am I the idiot? If we take everything in a vacuum, it's everyone's the idiot here because it sounds like nobody is trying to be an adult about whatever this conflict is. But it's hard to say without more information, namely, what started this division. While I agree there's missing info, brother cannot choose to have a child-free destination wedding, then complain when guests can't show up. You run the risk of guests not being able to attend a wedding with just one of those factors. But to then go and plan with both, you're saying there are guests you are inviting out of obligation, but you don't want them to attend. These types of wedding only work for really specific times in life, and if everyone you want to be there can do it. I mean, based on how OP is talking, I struggle to believe they actually couldn't attend, and that all that was just a reasonable excuse not to go. For your own parents to not go to your wedding, yeah, that's a little upsetting. OP and their family sound excessively resentful towards this woman. I doubt they've sat down and spoken to her or anything, and the fact that they're just being childish and going, yeah, we're not talking to you, celebrating your birthday, or inviting you to anything if she's there, is just extreme. At that point, either cut the brother out of your life entirely or buck up and deal. Everyone's the idiot here, but good luck to you. Your family sounds exhausting. My 30 male brother, 22, is spending a semester in Asia, and I offered to pay for his flight so he can attend our mother's 57 wedding. I got the cheapest flight available. It's not like I have money to spare, which includes a 9-hour layover during the night. As soon as he got the email confirmation with the tickets, he asked if there wasn't a more direct flight, which bothered me already. Then he asked me if I could lend him some money so he could spend the night at the capsule hotel at the airport. He says otherwise he will be exhausted at our mother's